key component that helps make our weight loss program successful and sustainable is the intermittent fasting. Now, a lot of people have heard about fasting and intermittent fasting and carb fasting, all these different types of things. It's become kind of a catch-all, kind of a marketing slang or buzzword, things like that. And then people hear it and they kind of like shut off and like, fasting, I don't want to go without eating. So we're going to talk a little bit about what intermittent fasting is, what it isn't, how we utilize it in our program to help you get the results that you're looking for. So what intermittent fasting is basically talking about is your eating window versus your non-eating window. And basically where that comes from is if you go back to hunter-gatherer society, they did not stop every 2 hours and eat something. They didn't have this many of this and this many of this many of this. They ate what was available, when it was available, at a certain time. So they might have gone a long period of time without a lot of protein, then had a whole bunch of protein. They might have gone with carbs or without carbs for a period of time, depending on what food sources are available. So our bodies started to get used to this and developed over time genetically to have these areas where we're eating for a short period of time, and then there's a longer period of time where we're not eating. Now, what happens is we got involved in science, and what we found out is that there's actually this little bit of caloric effect. When you eat food, you have to burn it off, so it allegedly uses calories to burn it. So that's where this, eat something every 2 to 3 hours, throughout the day came into mind. And what happened, because you're just constantly stoking the fire. Well, what turns out is you're just constantly keeping your body in a state of digestion, and it never gets to the utilization portion of it. Also, interesting fact, the number of calories you eat, whether you eat them in a small window or you eat them in a longer window, it still takes the same amount of calories to digest them, so that thermogenic effect is not as beneficial as once thought with that. So how does intermittent fasting really work? So how it works is typically you have a 14 to 16 hour fasting window or 12 to 16 hour fasting window. Women are usually ideally closer to 14 hours, men ideally closer to 16 hours. So what that means is you have about an 8 to 10 hour eating window is what that means. So basically, what you would do is you would take your 3 meals from that day, or the calories you're supposed to eat for a day, and you would just consume them in an 8-hour window instead of a 12 or 14-hour window. Okay, sounds simple enough, but what does that really do for me? Well, what that does is it allows your body to digest and burn up that food, but then it gives it that longer extended period of time to utilize that food, and it also helps you control your hormone levels. It keeps the insulin levels down, which is important because insulin is a fat-creating hormone. Now, it's something you need, but what it primarily does when you have excess or extra blood sugar is it pulls that sugar out of the blood and it turns it into fat, because too much sugar can be dangerous inside the body, and that's one of the issues with diabetes is your insulin can't keep up with it anymore, and you get all that extra blood sugar floating around causing damage in the body. So it's really important to make sure with that intermittent fasting is that it helps you control your weight loss hormones. It gives your body the time it needs to digest its food, but then utilize its food, and then more importantly, utilize your own body fat for fuel, which it's supposed to be doing in that longer cycle with it, which helps you burn up that excess fat more successfully. And that's why we utilize the intermittent fasting with our weight loss program. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment below, swing in to the office, give us a call, email, check things out. We're always happy to help people out. And if you're ever interested in setting up a complimentary consult, feel free to call and mention this video, and we'd be happy to do that for you as well. Have an awesome day.